Working with Brigitte completely transformed my sex life. So I believe that as women, we crave being led on a journey or a dance with a partner. And one of the challenges is that our men are learning about sex through mainstream porn, which offers very little to be inspired by as a woman. And so I discovered through the course of my work with Brigitte a lot of expansion into some very delicious realms, and discovered access to not only inner sensations in my body via activating all of these movements and spirals that you find in the dance modality that I was training with her was Brazilian Zouk, and specifically liquid lead and follow. So not only was I learning this very sensual partner dance from Brazil that's calls upon all of the activating the kundalini energy with movement, and also expanding really interestingly with the masculine and feminine gender roles. But she also wove in her own specialty, which is the liquid lead and follow. So now I got to really play with those intense gender roles and that polarity of playing in surrender, which is something that I so desired and craved in my life and in my sexual experiences. But because I was surrendering to men that didn't have the language to take me to these really expansive states where you're really super activating all of this in like intense energy flow, I would get led to kind of boring sex that didn't turn me on enough to make me have great orgasmic potential, and honestly would hurt a lot of the time. And so I also got to learn how to lead in Brazilian Zouk through this liquid lead and follow training, where now I was given a framework for my body to play with, simply taking over the lead and offering a new direction to the journey that we're going together. So it's interesting because before I started working with Brigitte, I was already deeply immersed into the study of Tantra. I had hired my own private Tantra coach, was working with her every week, unlocking all of these new concepts and ideas related to masculine and feminine energy exchange. And I was also learning about how to, like, technically how to set boundaries, how to say no, how to be aware, oh, my body's actually not fully turned on yet. I need to encourage my partner that we spend more time in some of this energy generating kind of touch before we shift into this very specific direction of penetration, right? So I had all these concepts, but my body had been, like, all of my neural pathways had been conditioned to simply follow the lead, even when I was not enjoying it, even when it caused me pain. And having this training, this practice, like having all of these opportunities for my body to learn that it's allowed to take the lead, and not only like how that it's allowed to, but like a language for how to go into a different kind of way of relating with somebody, like pressing against their body in a certain way that's super feminine, you know, like all of these kinds of movements, and using my body as the part of me that's communicating that I'm not excited to go to that place, but I'm going to go to this place, rather than like mentally saying that, you know, it's like, hey, can we spend more time doing this? Or like getting real mental and verbal and technical is pretty masculine. And also kind of, I had a hard time being able to communicate what I wanted without coming across as controlling or shifting the energy so that he didn't feel super safe to be in his own flow. And so this language, when I say it changed my sex life, I feel like it just does not even capture the full extent of it. You know, it's like from my own internal experience of my body and the amount of pleasure available to me and all of the connections in my spine and the way that my hip joint can rotate in my hips. Suddenly it feels like a massage, and it activates all this kundalini energy through my system, and I'm getting all of this arousal and generation of just my inner massage and my ability to now be present with aspects of my body, with my inner world, in the physical sense, in the energetic sense. That has been a profound expansion. Let alone the communication piece of being able to weave liquid, lead, and follow into the bedroom, right? So, like, as an example, Brigitte's the one who first showed me how to take the lead, how to follow a lead. So she demonstrated all of the different kinds of movements that my body could have access to. She even modeled in a safe way, with her body as a woman. It's safer for me with this other woman who made me feel so comfortable to free up some of my stuckness and stagnancy in my body that I didn't even realize I was holding my tension and limiting my expression and my range of exploration and sensation. And so she took my body and she demonstrated to me how it could move against another body, right? And then once I unlocked that aspect of the listening, then she starts training the how to step into the role of leading and understanding what it's really quite a challenging role. You have to be aware of the body mechanics of your follow. You have to understand the spine structure of your follow so you don't kind of snap her neck, and you have to be able to understand where the weight of her body is so that when you make a request, you can use the momentum of the weight shift to make the movement enormous, right? And all of this technical stuff it is no wonder that our men don't have this vocabulary and language to take us to these delicious realms when they've never even conceptualized that these realms existed. And then what language did they have to take us there, right? And so by learning the challenges of what it is to take the lead in a dance and in the bedroom, then I was able to start bringing that knowledge to my partners. So I'm with non-dancers generally. My lovers have been men who aren't necessarily super confident and comfortable in their bodies. And it's been really interesting to then lead them into a flow that generates some amazing energy exchange. Like I'm not an expert at leading. I couldn't teach somebody Brazilian zouk steps. I'm not at that point in my journey. Because I did a 1-month immersion in this liquid lead and follow with Brigitte, it's not that I need that technical stuff. I'm not really taking it to dance floors. I'm taking it to my reality. It changed my life. And I am the only person. I didn't go with a partner to learn how to do all this stuff, and now the two of us have this language we can speak together. I'm the only one with this language, and still I can bring it to my partners. I can demonstrate with my body the leading of what's possible for them. And because I know how to follow and I know what it takes for a lead to be aware of, I can start modeling the follow role. And, if a man touches my shoulder, I can, lean into that touch. And if he's got his hand on my hip, I can push my hip into his hand, and I can start demonstrating to him how to play the controls of this video game that is my body, and teaching him how much power he can have and taking the lead himself. And so it's the integration of both together that allow me to bring this game of expanding the energy and of presence and of attunement to a lover that I never had access to before. And I cannot recommend enough to go deep as possible with Brigitte in this kind of work. It will change your reality.